You get an Instant Pot for Christmas, or have you had it in the cupboard for months or maybe even years, and you're a little bit concerned about using it, you feel afraid, you're worried, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to help you today in this video. I'm going to show you exactly how to use this, what every piece is for, and we're even going to do a water test so that you feel absolutely safe and secure using your Instant Pot. Welcome to my channel, Intentionally Eat, where I show you how to make plant-based recipes that taste amazing for your health and for your weight loss goals. We're talking about the Instant Pot today. So if you got one, get it out of the box. I'm going to show you how to use it. So first we're going to show you all the different parts to this Instant Pot. It should come with a stainless steel pot, and yours might be a larger version than mine, but they all should have the stainless steel pot. Now here's a pro tip. I suggest buying an extra pot for those holidays, for those big meals when you've got one thing finished. You don't want to take the time to let it cool, dump it out, wash it out, start all over again. You can simply, of course, with gloves or hot pads, you can switch it out, put your other one in, and you're good to go on the next recipe. So that's your first pro tip. But this is the original that came with mine. You should also receive the lid. Now, you'll know that you've got to fiddle with the lid a little bit. That's just normal, trying to figure it out. But it will talk to you. It will tell you when it's on and when it's locked. Okay, and it'll tell you when you've unlocked it. Now, with this lid comes safety mechanisms, so you don't have to worry about those old days of pressure cookers and all of that frightening, scary stuff. This is going to protect you. This ring here, you need to check and make sure that it is in place, right, in the metal, behind the metal, all the way around every single time you use it. Now here's my other pro tip. This one actually came with, let me grab it, this white, right? So yours will probably come with a white ring. You just simply take it out. It's a great way to clean it, and pop another one back in. So it's just about putting it behind the piece of metal, right? And getting it all the way around behind that metal. So here's what I suggest. You're only going to get one ring. I suggest buying, let me get this on here. I suggest buying another set of rings. That way, if you are cooking fragrant, pungent foods, for instance, Indian foods where you have lots of curry, or you're using spices that are heavy duty. So maybe you've got chilies, chili powder, things like that. There we go. We got it in. I suggest taking and having a ring specifically for that type of food. So maybe red is your spicy, heavy, fragrant, pungent foods, maybe blues, dessert, something to that effect, and white is your just everyday kind of ring. Maybe you're making baked potatoes, something, applesauce. But you don't want that pungent taste in your applesauce. So I really recommend getting another set of rings, because you will not be able to get that flavor out of those rings. If you can, let me know in the comments below if you figured out a way to get the spice smell out of those rings, because it does infuse into the food. So we've got the ring covered. We've got the safety mechanism covered. You are going to place it on your pot. And as I said, you'll fiddle with it a little bit, but it does talk to you. Okay. Once you seal it, you have your food in, you followed your recipe, you are going to pay attention. Your model might have a button for sealing or you've got this knob for sealing. And it'll tell you sealing or venting. It says it on there. You want to make sure that it's sealed. If your food isn't coming to temperature, that's probably why. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be that you have got your inner seal out of place. And so it's not making a good connection. Those are usually your main trouble points if it isn't working properly for you. Now, you'll notice that the pin is down. Let me just show you. Boy, it's doing a lot of talking. Your pin is down. It will lift once it's started cooking, and then once it's pressurized, it will lift, and then once it's cooled off enough for you to open, it will drop back down. So that's your indication that you are good to go to open up your Instant Pot. Okay, so you see it's down now because everything's cool. Now, when I first got this, I thought Instant Pot, okay, it's gonna cook everything in 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. No, it doesn't. So lower your expectations about how instant this is, because it does take time to pressurize. So here's another pro tip. If you are using water as a base for something, so rice, beans, something like that you're cooking in here, you can get this started a little faster by using boiling water or hot water so that it doesn't take as long to pressurize. So that's how I do it. That's what I recommend. Now, you're going to see all of these buttons. Yours might have different buttons than mine, but what's fantastic about this rice cooker, Instant Pot, is that it is a rice cooker, right? So it'll make rice, it'll make yogurt, it'll make beans, applesauce. I make baked potatoes for the week, put them in the fridge because it lowers the glycemic level when you cool the starch and then you eat it. Even if you reheat it the next day, it's still better for you. Oats, anything you can think of pretty much, you can make in your Instant Pot. I make soups at least once a week. It's fantastic. You can go to intentionallyeat.com and find all kinds of recipes for using your Instant Pot because I love using it. So let's do our water test. Oh, before we do that, so there's some extras that you could purchase if you wanted, besides the stainless steel pot, besides the extra rings, if you wanted. Now yours should come with a trivet. You are going to want to use that to keep your potatoes, trying to think what else. If you're making a cake or something like that, you're going to want to keep it lifted off of the water. This will not work. You will get a burn notice if you don't have at least a cup of water in your Instant Pot. So you've got to start with a cup of water or liquid, broth, something to that effect in your Instant Pot. So you might not need this. We're not going to need the trivet for this first test. But the other things that you could buy, a little cake, right? Well, there we go. So you could make a dairy-free cheesecake in here. You could make a cake. I will say I wasn't too thrilled with some of the recipes that I made because it didn't seem any faster than making it in the oven. So I guess if you just didn't want to heat the kitchen up, maybe. But otherwise, I'll just pass on that. Steamer, it's fantastic. I make my seitan in the Instant Pot. It's amazing. You don't have to mess with boiling it on the stove and all that steam, making sure you keep water in it because you can just do it in here. It's fantastic. You might get some grips. That way you can pull your cake out, right, without getting burned. But as you can see, it doesn't really fit depending on how wide the item is. But I could get in here and get my baked potatoes, that kind of a thing, out if I wanted. All right, now we're going to do our water test. So I'm going to put 2 cups of water in my Instant Pot. we are going to put the lid on. Remember, you got to fiddle. It's a little harder doing this seated for the video. There we go. All right, and we're going to seal it. That way, it's going to come to pressure. So we're simply going to hit pressure. There we go. It's set for 5 minutes. It won't take that long, or it shouldn't. So we're just going to go 3 minutes and see what it does. Now, you could go low pressure if you want, but most things need to actually be cooked on high pressure. The only reason low pressure would be some delicate foods. Pretty much 99% of the time, you're going to go high pressure. So you just heard that double beep. That's just telling you, and it will verbally tell you that it's on. Okay, so it's going to do its magic. It's starting to pressurize. It's starting to heat that water up. Now, if you do a yogurt, you're going to hit that. It's probably going to be, I think it's 8 hours minimum, 10 hours, something like that. The longer you take for the yogurt, the tangier it gets. So you could go 12 hours and that would be fantastic. Just leave it overnight. All it's doing is keeping it nice and warm so that that yogurt starts to grow the healthy bacteria for you. Let's see, what else? So there are 2 ways to release this pressure once it becomes pressurized and your item is cooked. So let's say we've got soup that you want the vegetables to really be done. You would cook this for maybe 4 minutes, and then you would allow it to naturally release for maybe 10 minutes. So that just means it's naturally cooling off for 10 minutes. You could go for however long you want. If you are in a hurry, or you want those vegetables a little bit with crunch to them, or you want the pasta a little al dente, you would vent it. Okay, so it has finished cooking, and now you can see that it is done, and we're back to 0. This is a natural release. If I weren't going to vent it at all, I would just let it count down and keep cooling itself down. This will start counting up before it counted down when it was cooking. So it went 3, 2, 1, and then 0. Now it's going to go 1, 2, 3 and tell you how long it's been sitting in the pot cooling off. Now, when I say cooling off, that's a relative term because it is still very hot, even 20 minutes later when you open up this lid. So be careful when you're opening it. Here's how I do it. So I recommend hot pot holders. I have the UV glove, which I absolutely love. Whatever you use. But here's how I like to vent it if I'm not going to let it naturally release and I want to speed this process up. I want to release it and vent it myself. So you can hopefully see that the pin is up. When the pin drops, remember that's when I'm able to open it. So this will not let me open it at all. So that's a built-in safety mechanism right there. But I take a tea towel, I put it over the vent, and then I start to release the steam. That way I feel like it's better for my cabinets. I'm not putting a lot of moisture on my cabinets. I'm putting them on the towel. Now, the towel's going to be damp when it finishes, especially depending on how long it's cooked. But you can see the steam is rising. It is releasing all of that pressure. But you absolutely don't have to use the towel. I just kind of like it as another safety feature so that I don't get hot steam in my face. And like I said, I don't get steam on my cabinets, on my wood. And then I always use just a long spoon or tongs or something like that to do it so my hand isn't reaching in and I get a steam burn on my hand. So use Use your long spoon. Okay, we're just about done. We might be done. Let's look at the pin. The pin dropped. So that tells me the pin has dropped. I can now open this. So there you go. You wouldn't be able to open it if it was still pressurized. That's the built-in safety mechanism. So if that's a concern of yours, don't worry about it. Now I've got a lot of condensation on here because I had this towel and this is only water. But there you go. We've got hot boiling water. So I suggest trying the water test first so that you get your feet wet. You feel like you know what you're doing a little bit. Also, it will not allow you to put that lid back on if it's still too hot inside. So pay attention to the pin and see if it will let you put it in, because it's still too hot on the inside, so it's not going to let me do it yet. That's it. Just remember that I've got more recipes at intentionallyeat.com, my website, my blog, if you want to find out how to make the best rice, how to make a Mexican dinner. I've got Tuscan soup. I've got yogurt, all kinds of things that you can make in the Instant Pot. Please try it. Get it out of the box. You're going to love it. I promise. Now, if you'd like to see more videos like this, just tell me what you want to see in the comments. Tell me if there's some appliance that you're concerned about, you want me to give it a try, and I'll do my best. This is the type of information and meal prepping ideas that I give my clients. So if there's something that you need help with, feel free, message me in the comments and I will reply. Take care.